Hi, I'm Brett Jennings, and for the last 12 years, I've traveled the country to meet, mentor, and mastermind with some of the brightest and best minds both inside and outside of real estate. I've taken those ideas, brought them back to our team of experts, and sold hundreds of homes per year all across Silicon Valley, and this is how we do it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Lauren Mosley, Managing Director at Real Estate Experts. I'm really excited for our panel that we have going today. We are not only going to hear from some amazing agents, such as Ian Batra, Morgan McGuire, Ryan Nickel, Mark Dwelle, and Krista Nielsen, but we're also going to see how Brett Jennings opens up his playbook and how he went from doing about $1 million in GCI to doing over 4 million in GCI, and the tactics, lead pillars, and practices he put into place. Brett has been in the business for about 12 years and has been just an absolute leader in the industry with innovative leads, systems, and taking advantage of all coaching and training opportunities. And I'm really excited to have this panels going on and hear from everybody. So Brett, I'd like to bring you on board and have you get started. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Lauren, and welcome to everyone who's online with us today. I want to first of all welcome you and thank you for your participation today. I want you to know that the investment of your time I don't take lightly, and so for that reason, you have my commitment that over the next little over an hour, 60 to 70 minutes, we're going to share the very best of what we've learned personally in doubling my business year over year and then helping other agents do the same. So we have 5 great panelists that you're going to hear from today. But to kick it off, I want to start with this idea, is that this is a quote that says, "The mind is like a parachute. It only works when open." So my ask is, come to this with an open mind. But in addition, so who this is for agents and teams that want to grow, agents that are willing to learn, and agents that prefer to follow a proven plan versus figure everything out on their own. So today's agenda, in our short time today, my goal is to share my entire playbook of how I went from 120,000 a year to over 400,000 a year in GCI, and how other agents are using these same principles to double their business, to give you ultimately the confidence, clarity, and certainty about what you need to focus on to grow your business. Now, as we go through this, you're going to hear on occasion from mentors of mine, of which this is one that's near and dear to my heart, Tony Robbins. I had the good privilege and opportunity of working with him alongside him in his company between 1997 and 1999. And it was one of the best experiences of my life. And for that reason, I love the coaching and training piece of what we get to do. But this is one of my favorite quotes of his. "Wealth exists in the gap between ideas and their implementation." So for that reason, I'm going to ask for your participation today. This is what I need from you, because nothing pains me more than sharing the path and tools for success and then run into people months or years later to find out they're still in the same place they were when they said they were ready to go to the next level. And so what do I mean by participation? Well, scientific studies have shown that if you just passively listen, you're going to retain about 10% of what we share. So if I got 10 really awesome ideas that will move the needle and grow your business, but you only remember and implement one of them, in my book, that's not a win. And I would think in yours neither. Now, if we simply start taking notes, which I will encourage you to do, you'll increase your retention to about 30%. Now, if you listen, take notes, and then participate. So when I ask a question, raise your hand, or if I ask to chat something in the box, go ahead and chat it in the box. Your retention will go up to 60%. So that is my ask. Okay, deal? Now, if nothing else, I'm here to share with you my path in real estate that I've created over the last 12 years and an opportunity for you to think big. How big? Well, we're going to I want to share with you Nneka's story. Unfortunately, she's one of the panelists that's not able to make it today. She just had a baby yesterday. So she and her little baby, Nico, are recovering in the hospital as we speak. But this is what's happened for Nneka. It's a great story about how the application of these principles really work. So Nneka in 2017 was a solo agent and did about 10 transactions. She and I got together in 2018, and she joined my team and went from doing 10 transactions to 36 transactions. Now, if you notice on her gross commission income, she made more money that year, but she sold a lot more real estate. So she did work harder for each dollar, let's say, but that wasn't a strategic investment in her part. She wanted to learn from me. And so she said, Brett, in 2019, I want to start my own team. Will you help me do it? I said, absolutely. So I helped her launch the team in 2019. She did 50 transactions that first year for a little over $1 million in GCI. In 2020, we added a couple more agents, and she got right to the threshold of 2 million. And then in just this last year, I helped her go from owning her own team to starting her own brand, Onyx Wealth Realty. And she did 143 units with 4 agents for a little over 4 million in GCI. So a tremendous story. I want to encourage you to stay till the end. I'm going to provide as a free bonus this roadmap, which is the 7 stages of a real estate business. No matter where you are in the business, this map is exactly the roadmap that I followed and was coached to. I've adapted and adopted it a little bit for our higher price market in Silicon Valley for growing and building a team. But really what it does, it tells you, what stage you're at based on the number of transactions and the sales volume and income you're at. What is the leverage point to go to the next level, and what the goals are once you get at a particular stage? Because without a map, it's easy to get lost. Is what I can tell you from personal experience. And you're going to hear about my story in just a minute. So to get to where you want to go, right, you do need to know where you are. And so this is going to be the first part of participation that we're going to talk about here today. So Lauren, if you could drop in the chat, we are going to go through a quick self-assessment. We're going to go through a quick self-assessment, and I'm going to stop share.
I just dropped it in the chat, Brett. So.
Okay. And here we go. So go ahead and click on the link in the chat. And this is going to take about 3 minutes. We're going to go through this together as an assessment. Again, to get to where you want to go, you want to double your business, you got to know where you are. So we're going to ask a few questions. We are going to send the results of this assessment back to you. And at the end of our session today, we do have an opportunity for a limited number of you to actually get some coaching from either Lauren or myself on really some of the elements that we're going to talk about today. So this business assessment, go ahead and pop in your email there and your name. Once you've got your email and name in there, we're going to ask a question. What did you do in 2021? How many units, or what was your sales volume, either units or sales volume, over the last 12 months? Once you've gotten to that place in the questionnaire, go ahead and raise your hand so I can see. Raise your hand so I can go ahead and see that you guys we're all tracking together. So Lauren, can you see other people's, there we go. I see Chris Cervantes just gives me a hands up. Shannon's got a hands up.
Yeah, we've got some people doing the questionnaire that they clicked on the link. Other people are putting their answers in the chat. So we can go ahead and, for those of you who are not in the car, go ahead and click on the link in the chat. I'll repost it right now and we can answer this live. So I think we're good, Brett, to go on to the next question.
Great. So first question was, how many units or what was your sales volume over the last 12 months? Second question, we're going to evaluate or rate your skills that you're going to need to double your business. So number 2 question is, how would you rate your skill level at marketing and lead generation? Is it a superpower of yours? Do you generate more leads than you can handle? Is it mostly good, kind of, sort of, or it needs some love? So you have 4 criteria there. It's a superpower, mostly good, kind of, sort of, or needs some love. What is your skill level at marketing and lead generation? Okay, go ahead and check that. Next question, how would you rate your skill level at nurturing your leads? Now, what do I mean by nurturing your leads? Let's say you have an open house and you walk away with 3 potential buyers. What is your system or process? Do those just end up on a piece of paper in your car? Do those end up in a CRM that has some follow-up systems associated with it, whether it's a drip campaign or a task list on follow-up? Okay, and so how would you rate your skill level at nurturing your leads? Superpower, mostly good, kind of, sort of, or my lead nurturing needs some love. Now, the third question, how would you rate your skill level at lead conversion? What do I mean by lead conversion? This is your ability to meet with a prospective buyer and get a commitment for them to work with you. Or if you're doing listings, what is your skill level of actually getting somebody to sign the listing agreement once you've had that first conversation with them? Another point on lead conversion would be your confidence and competency level of getting your buyers into contract in this crazy competitive environment. Is that a superpower? Is it mostly good, kind of, sort of, or needs some love? Moving on to the second to last question. As you grow your businesses, we're going to talk about today, support as you scale is critical. So how much support do you currently utilize or leverage in your business today? The first answer is none. I do everything myself, including my transaction coordination. Second answer is I do everything but transaction coordination. I have a TC, but I'm doing everything else. The third answer is I have a transaction coordinator and an assistant. I'm pretty leveraged. Or if you are highly leveraged and you're only working with meeting with buyers, generating leads and following up, you've got an entire team that's handling transaction coordination, any assistant activities, and maybe even a marketing coordinator. So how much support do you currently utilize in your business? And the last question we're going to answer as we finish this self-assessment, and for those of you who just came online, this is a workshop, so we encourage you to participate. If you look in the chat, you'll see a link to a double your business assessment, and we're just finishing it up. So go ahead and jump in there. The last question is, if you have everything necessary for your success, leads, coaching, systems, administrative support, what level of income do you think is possible for you in 1 year or in 2 years? So go ahead and type that in there. And when you're done, hit send or submit, and that will submit the results, and you will get a copy of these along with the assessment form that we're going to provide at the end of the call. All right, so moving on, we've done a self-assessment. We know that to get to, stop share, I'm going to switch screens. To get to where you want to go, you have to know where you are. And so where's my Chrome? There we go. And I'm going to tell a little bit about my own personal story and how this came to be. So like many people, my path into real estate was my plan B. I had started a couple different businesses before real estate. Last one was in financial services. And I sold that company in 2006. And it was a financial services company. We were also providing tax advice. Well, one of the tax advisors was providing some tax advice that was not 100% on base. So every one of the clients got looped into an audit, including myself. And I lost all the money that I made in the sale of that company. And so this was just before the crash. My wife was pregnant with our first child. And she's like, Brett, what are you going to do? And so I said, real estate. And I made that commitment to get into real estate before the market turned, literally 3 days before Bear Stearns collapsed. So my journey, it started with a big why. Failure was not an option. And so I started out as a solo agent in 2008, and I did 12 transactions on a team for about 110,000 in GCI. And now, granted, at the time, average price point was about 500,000. So we had to sell more houses in those days. My second year, 2009, I tripled that business and did 36 sales as a solo agent. And in 2010, I hired my first assistant. And you'll see, as we talk about on the roadmap to doubling your business, you are going to want to add support at different stages. In 2011, it was still just me. You can see I only went, from 40 transactions to 44 transactions. And it was me and one agent and did about 600,000. And in 2012, 10 years ago today, was my first $1 million year in the business, and did 53 transactions, started hiring a bunch of agents. Interesting thing though, I didn't have a clear roadmap. And I got stuck at 1 million GCI for 3 years. And it was super frustrating for me. And what ended up happening was I just was committed to finding a way. So for the next 5 years, I just went on the relentless pursuit of really attending like every major real estate seminar, mastermind I could. I spent probably $150,000 and traveled across the country 10 times at least over that 5-year period, but mentored with some amazing mentors that really helped grow my business. And in fact, it worked. The investment paid off. My business quadrupled. And in 2016, 2017, 2018, we were acknowledged and it got some great accolades. We were acknowledged as the top 500 real estate marketers in the country. We first landed on the Wall Street Journal list in 2017. 2018, I got elected to the Zillow Agent Advisory Board. There's about 20 of us across the country. It's cool to be in the front seat of that big, like Zillow, hate Zillow. They are changing the industry, and it's nice to have a front row seat on the moves that they're making. But since 2018, my team's consistently done over 4 million in GCI. This last year, we did about 234 million. And that's just, I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you that the principles we're sharing work. So the interesting thing, every good life story of success, you hear things go up and then things go down. So for myself and my business, just when everything was going great in 2018, some of my top agents approached me and they wanted to leave and go on their own. And I asked the question, why? And what the answer was surprising. They really, most of the agents who had joined my team, they had gone from doing 5, 10 transactions a year to 20, 30, and as many as 40 transactions a year. But after about 2 years, they're like, hey, Brett, this is great, but I'd really like to get a higher split. I'd like to build my own brand. And what happened? They left. And I was crushed. I built the business, yes, to make money, but I also built it to help develop people and help them create a bigger business. So what was interesting was when I would follow up with those people that had left my team, I was still good friends with them. We were still connected. We're still talked from time to time. There was no bad blood. But I looked at their business and talked with them, and they had gone from, say, going from 5 to 7 deals before we partnered together to doing 20 or 30 transactions. And then when they went on their own, they did maybe 10, 12, 13 transactions. So more than when we partnered, but much less when we were on my team. And I'd ask them, do you still want to grow your business and do more? And the answer to that was always yes. Well, like, well, why don't you do more business then? And their answer was surprising. They said it was the environment. And they said it was kind of a combination between, leads and the camaraderie, because we would do prospecting together. I, left to my own devices, I'm not quite as accountable as I could be. And, so now I'm doing 12 or 13 deals when I was doing 20 before. And that brings up a principle, and that is environment is stronger than willpower. I encourage you to write that one down. Environment is stronger than willpower. And real estate, for the most part, if we think about it, is what I call a solo agent sport. Just like swimming, right? Swimming is a solo agent sport. And, many of you will recognize this person, even if you're not an avid fan of swimming, because this is Michael Phelps, right? He became the most decorated Olympian ever in a solo agent sport. But what most people don't recognize or remember is that he was actually part of a team, right? And it was that experience of being in a team that helped push, strive, and drive him to those highest levels of success, right? Getting up at 4:30 in the morning and swimming laps with his partners, pushing his split times more and more, really, really helped him elevate his game, which leads me to this second half of this principle, and that is the most successful people don't let their own willpower determine their success. even the most elite athletes, they have coaches, right? And that is something that is this principle that environment is stronger than willpower. And the most successful people don't let their own willpower determine their success. You can only go so far on your own. So my challenge, after these agents had left, was how could I provide a team environment while helping them build a business of their own? And if you're just jumping into this workshop right now, we are going somewhere with this, and we're going to get right into what these elements are. As I struggled with this question, though, how could I help, create a team environment to help agents build their individual business? This was, I went to one of my mentors, Gary Keller, at the time. And I'm like, Gary, I can't figure this out. These guys are leaving, and I still want to be in relationship with them, and I want to help them. He said, you have to think bigger. Your role as a leader, Brett, is to expand your world so that your best people can live out their greatest ambitions within it. And it took a while, but I finally landed on an answer. And the answer was something that I call a teamridge. Okay, what is a teamridge? A teamridge is a new model of brokerage where you find much more opportunity and support than a traditional brokerage, and much higher splits than you would on a team. And so your challenge, is how do you create or find an environment? If that principle is true, environment is stronger than willpower, and the most successful people don't let their own willpower determine their success. How do you create or find an environment that can provide the optimal conditions for your success? And most importantly, what do you really need to double your business? And here is what we found in this teamridge model that we built. These are the principles. Whether you do it in our environment, or you create your own environment, or you go to an environment, you want to find these 5 elements, okay? These are what we call the 5 accelerators to double your business. And we're going to do a deep dive into each of these: mindset, leads, accountability, systems, and support. So the first piece, mindset. 80% of success, even more, I would say as much as 90% of success is mindset. And mindset is, it's not everything, but it's almost everything. So the 3 mindsets that we find consistently, and you're going to hear from the panelists who are on this call today as well, the 3 mindsets for massive success in real estate are: number 1, the growth mindset. What's the growth mindset? It means that your business grows to the extent that you do. The growth of your business is not outside of you, it's inside of you. And secondly, that there is no failure. There's only learning. There's either winning, there is no losing. It's either winning or learning, and either is okay. So the question is, how fast can we fail, and how fast can we get up, and how fast can we learn and take that forward? So this growth mindset, as it applies to you and your business, it is about increasing your training efforts, master the dialogues that create urgency. We just spent time building a market update for 2022 to really prepare buyers for this market ahead, because it is going to be a dogfight. So become a student in the market, trends and stats, and role play. Like, if you want to get paid like a pro, you've got to train like a pro. So outside coaching resources that you can look at are Tom Ferry, Workman Systems, Club Wealth, Brian Buffini. These are just some things that coaching resources that can help you with that growth mindset. The second element is the entrepreneur's mindset. The second mindset for massive success in real estate is the entrepreneur's mindset. What do I mean by that? Well, the entrepreneur's mindset says you're not just a salesperson, you're a business owner. And that to consistently grow your income, you are going to need to replace yourself in the different parts of your business. You're going to want to hire someone to take all the lower value tasks off your plate, okay? Now, this was my first wake-up call when it came to understanding the entrepreneur's mindset. This gentleman, Todd Bates, was one of my first. He wasn't directly mentored with me at the time. I'm going to date myself. I bought his program. It was on CD, and I listened to it. And I remember him saying, you suffer from entrepreneurial idiot's disease. Most agents do. Why is that? Because 80% of real estate is $25 to $30 an hour work. And if you do all that, signs, flyers, lock boxes, if you're doing all that yourself, you only have 20% of your time to make really good money. A second thing to put kind of this into focus or perspective, this is a tool that we coach to help agents replace themselves in the business. If you are a solo agent, chances are you are doing probably everything, if not almost everything, on all the different tasks related to everything that has to happen in a real estate transaction. But the interesting thing here is if you look at these 9 boxes, we call this the 9 box. In the bottom left corner is what we call the lowest skill, lowest value tasks. What do those things do? It's signs and grounds, lock boxes, flyer delivery, delivering docs. That's 15 to 20 hour dollar an hour work, and it only pays you 15 to 40,000 bucks a year. If you look at most of the boxes for all the different jobs that are required to do a real estate transaction from start to finish, most of it is under $100,000 a year. There's only 3 boxes that are 100,000 a year plus, and that is inside sales work, prospecting, inbound, outbound calls, setting listing appointments, being a buyer's agent, showing houses, writing contracts, negotiating offers, or being a listing agent, listing homes and negotiating contracts. The goal is to get you into the top right box as quickly and as much as possible. So that's the mindset of being an entrepreneur. It's like, how do I shift my activities into this higher dollar per hour work? And then the last mindset for massive success in real estate we're finding is a prospecting mindset. Bottom line is real estate is a contact sport. The more contacts you make, whether it's now more and more, it's less by phone and more by text, but the more contacts you make, the more money you make. And there's no getting around this in the business. You commit to at least 2 hours a day and you will earn at least $500,000 if you're actually doing the work of contacting clients. So I want to highlight one of the agents that is on our panel today to come talk, just step out for a minute here and share a little bit with us. Morgan McGuire, welcome to the call. Oops. Welcome to the call. It's good to have you here. Morgan, I know you had a pretty remarkable year in 2021. You're not new to real estate. So if you could share with us a little bit about that. Morgan, if you could share with us a little bit, if you would, about what impact mindset specifically has had for you in the past year in this massive growth that you've had. Like I said, you were an experienced agent and then had this huge leap year. And what role mindset played, and maybe some of these mindsets we've talked about, like prospecting mindset, the growth mindset, and how that has all played in.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm happy to share my information. And it's really the things that you just mentioned. When I came to this company, I think this month is actually 21 years for me. And did own a Realty World franchise with my father. We were partners in that. I'm a 2nd generation realtor. And so, we were doing pretty well, but wanted to level up. And, I saw what you're doing out there and I probably attended some of these things and thought to myself, wow, that's interesting. So, after joining the company, I really decided to come in with an open mind and be open to learning and kind of lean into the processes that you put in place. So in doing that, it kind of leads to the abundance mindset, which is limitless potential in life. It may sound kind of cheesy or funny, but it's actually true. You put your own limits on yourself, whether you know it or not, by doing or not doing certain things. In this company, it's easy to get caught up in things. And with real estate experts, there's a very solid foundation that you guys provide. And so I came into it open-minded, came into it with an abundance mindset. And I've heard you say it before, and it's not BS, it's true. It's this is a completely different situation where, we hunt as a pack and not as an individual lone wolf like most of real estate is. A lot of agents are very closed with what they're doing. protective scarcity mindset. There's plenty of business out there for everybody. And when I joined the company, I had no hesitation reaching out to you, to Lauren, to all these great people on the team, and the folks on this panel, and with questions. And a lot of times when you reach out to these top producers, in other companies, they may not want to share information, but that's not the case here. So really just coming in with an open mind, leaning into the processes, creating that abundance mindset, and hunting as a pack and not as a lone wolf. That's kind of what I really leaned into and just pushed hard. And that helped with some success that I had.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Morgan. And you kind of touch on one principle that I think, if you want to grow your real estate business, think collaboration. They say you can go fast alone, you go far together. And this idea that, real estate has been traditionally a solo agent sport, and we eat what we kill and we hunt alone. But through this spirit of collaboration, growth and learning combined with collaboration, I think has created an X factor, right? That it's like collective genius. We got a bunch, you're 21 years in the business, and you were harvesting ideas in that growth mindset, harvesting ideas that you were implementing in your business, but you weren't shy about sharing some of the great superpower, maybe something really niched or nuanced that you really knew well, and bringing that to the table to share with other people as well. So yeah, even if it's not inside our organization, I encourage you to adopt that mindset, because it will take you so far. So awesome, Morgan. Thanks for jumping out and sharing. And so we just touched on, the number one factor in the 5 accelerators to double your business is mindset. And that was growth mindset, entrepreneurs mindset, and a prospecting mindset. So moving on to the next thing, and this is what everybody, kind of focuses on and gets excited about, and that's leads or lead generation. And again, kind of diving back into some advice and wisdom from my mentor, Gary Keller. I remember he said this to me my second year in the business. And he said, make no mistake, the first business you're in is the lead generation business. You are not in the real estate business. First business is lead generation. Second business you're in is real estate, because if you have no leads, you're out of business. I took that to heart and made lead generation, marketing and lead generation, my number one focus. And it has never, ever failed me in the growth of our business. I feel fortunate that every year that we've ever had has always been better than the next year. And it is kind of creating a motto now that we share inside the company, not just on the business side, but in life in general. And the goal is to make the rest of your life the best of your life. If you have a better year every year, then you can make the rest of your life the best you have. But moving on to leads. What are the 4 core lead generation pillars that are working now? This is a good representation and kind of really dives into the nuts and bolts of how you can double your business, or how we are doubling people's businesses. These are the 4 elements. If the things that you're seeing there, the light blue is sphere of influence. And for us, that represents about 40% of the business that we do. The red that you see there is high quality online. So those are leads like Zillow, HomeLight, OpCity, what we call bottom of the funnel online leads that are people are ready to transact. I'm not talking about Facebook leads, not that those can't be a good source, but the number of people that you got to go through to find someone who's really ready to transact is really high. So high quality online, Zillow, HomeLight, open houses. Those went away for a period of time, obviously during COVID. The good news is they are back, and they are a fantastic source of business because they're feet on the street buyers. And then lastly is farming. And that's geographic farming or other types of farming, direct mail to both buyers and sellers. Now, one of the things I want to highlight is the fact that most agents, if you are doing less than 15 transactions a year, chances are the only elements you have in play for your lead generation are the blue and the yellow, open house and sphere of influence. Just by a show of hands, online, and I'm asking for your participation again here. You can either use the digital thing to raise your hand or just raise your hand. If most of your business comes from sphere and or open houses, raise your hand. Let's just see, Lauren, Kyle Taylor, Matt LaMarche. Yeah, so that's awesome. And Your business will never find its full potential if you're only doing open house and sphere of influence. Okay. Because it simply, if you have 70% of your business is sphere or 80% of your business is sphere, what that means is you're missing a marketing opportunity. Because what we do, and when I coach agents, what we do is if they have just the blue and the yellow, well, then look, all we need to do is add the red and the green, and we've just about doubled their business. So the high quality online and farming, we're going to talk about those things now as we dive into lead generation. So as far as high quality online for us, Zillow has been one of our main pillars on the high quality element. If you look to do this on your own, first thing you want to do is really dial in your profile, get your reviews and your narrative about your biography totally dialed in. Make sure that you can get your number of reviews up. If you're going to buy leads on Zillow, get the number of reviews you have up so that you are the top 5 in the zip codes that you want to purchase in. What's nice about it is you can choose the areas that you want. And it is exclusive. Those leads, once transferred to you, only see you. And the majority, at least we're on Zillow Flex, which is a kind of a tiered, top tier program for them. They are live inbound phone calls. If you buy leads from Zillow, you will get a percentage of them that come through as a live inbound call. But this has been a fantastic growth engine. Most of our agents average about $250,000 a year each in GCI from our Zillow partnership. HomeLight is another, HomeLight is a top agent referral network. You want to go ahead and create a profile and build that profile up there. That's another good source of high quality online. And like I said, there's others out there like OpCity, even Redfin Partner Agent. So the high quality online we've talked about. Second pillar is sphere of influence and past client marketing. In the spirit of sharing our playbook, this is our playbook for sphere of influence and past client marketing. One of the things that I do want to mention is this should be the first thing. If you're newer to the business, before you go spend money on Zillow, dial in your sphere of influence, get at least 100 people with names, addresses, and emails in your system. Our plan is 32 touches. We email them twice a month. They get a market update, and then they also get a newsletter. The direct mail component, you have to send something to them in the mail every month because it's too easy to delete all your emails or sometimes spam filters, right? So the direct mail component, we send a postcard every month. One's an evidence of success. Another one is a market update. And then a third one is sharing with them the buyers that we have. Third thing you're going to want to do is call your sphere of influence every quarter. Just reach out and touch base. Hey, I'm just checking in, seeing how you're doing. If you don't catch them on the phone, no need to call me back, but I just wanted to say hello and see how you're doing. And as always, if you have any questions or needs about real estate, keep me in mind. Client appreciation events. We do those twice per year. We do one in the summertime. We do the San Jose Giants game. And then we do a second one at Thanksgiving time. We do a Thanksgiving pie giveaway. And then the last piece is being generous, giving gifts to your past clients. We give 2 gifts a year. We give Thanksgiving pies. And then the second thing we do is at Valentine's Day, we send out brownies, which you'll see. So our digital market update goes out both by mail and digitally as well. So they get it by email and mail. Another thing you're going to want to do on your sphere of influence is obviously posting to your social accounts weekly, but don't be that annoying agent that only posts like you're just sold or you're just listed. Share some content, take the time to curate content or invest in some of the companies that do curate content for you that will ask your sphere of influence questions. Like if you could only have one, what would you choose? A walk-in closet, a bar, a game room, or a library? Content like this that really creates engagement and gets your clients thinking about real estate. The client appreciation events we talked about in gifts. This is a postcard that we sent out for our client event for the summertime baseball game. And then that's just a sample of what we send when we send out gifts for Valentine's Day. So open houses are the third pillar that we talked about. A couple things to think about if you aren't doing these things. We do an outbound calling campaign telling the neighbors, hey, Steve and Mary over at 123 Main Street, the reason I'm calling is they're moving on and they've hired us to help them sell the home. But the reason I'm calling you is 1 in 10 times the person who's going to buy this house knows somebody in the neighborhood. So it's a time for you to choose your new neighbor. we are doing a sneak preview for the neighbors, either this Thursday for wine and cheese or this Saturday for muffins and mimosas. And we encourage you to come by. Then after the house sells, we'll call around again and tell them, hey, I just wanted to say thank you, because I don't know if it was you, and I'd leave this message. I don't know if it was you, but several of the neighbors sent people by, and we had tremendous traffic that came through the open house, and some of the neighbors had sent some people by. So I just wanted to say thanks. The house sold with 4 offers. It sold, 82,000 over asking. And if you know anybody who would consider selling, we still have some buyers who are trying to get into this neighborhood. So promoting open houses and being aggressive about that. Once you land a listing, never miss the opportunity to market that listing. We do something called event-based farming, where we mail 300 just listed cards, 300 pending sale cards, and 300 I have buyers. Also posting on Facebook, and then giving you the opportunity to do that, calling that same list that you mail to. We do this and find that you get a listing for about every 2 or 3 listings that you do event-based farming for. So as one of my friends in real estate said, listings make babies if you do the right thing. So that's what we do on open houses and event-based farming. I wanted to call out and highlight Ian Batra. Ian and I have known each other for a number of years. I think we originally met through some of the marketing we were doing on Zillow at some of the Zillow conferences. But Ian's a great example of what's possible to increase your business when you really dial in your lead generation. Ian this year went from doing 23 million in 2020 to 116 million this year. So Ian, if you wouldn't mind jumping out, tell us a little bit about kind of what your focus on lead generation was, and how, either what elements of the 4 we talked about have you implemented, and what's working for you in this big increase that you've had in your business this year.
Sure. Thanks, Brett. Everyone, you hear me okay?
Yeah.
When I coach team members or talk to my agents or anybody who comes to me asking for advice, I'll tell you, your business is initially made or broken on lead generation. So essentially, obviously mindset, as we just talked about, if you can't get out of bed and go work, then your business is dead before you start. But in reality, most businesses, if you don't have lead generation, you don't get to test your listing presentation. You can't tell if you're a good converter. You don't ever get to test your skills. So lead gen is really that kind of force multiplier that has to be there and especially if you're an aspiring team leader, or someone who wants to join a team, those leads are going to be the lifeblood of your business initially. So we actually focus on 5 pillars, and I add one more to mine. So of course, it's the sphere of influence, which is, like you said, the initial backbone of anybody's business, which we follow your model, Brett, which is we've always done a similar model, but obviously joining Real Estate Experts, we just kind of plugged in and went along with your plan on that, and that brings in business, sort of the business that you just really don't want to lose, because you don't want to look and I'll go on Facebook or something and see that a friend or a family member sold without you. Then of course we look at open houses and marketing around our listings. We've always done a lot of business from open houses, and it allows us to pick up buyers. Sometimes we sell our own listings, but more importantly than selling our own listings, sometimes people are interested in our listing, but they end up becoming a buyer that we'll sell a house to later. And listings also are able to get us other listings. Of course, internet leads. So the real force multiplier of our team this last year, of course, was Zillow Flex, among other pillars of online leads. It just allowed us to have a constant stream of clients that we were showing properties to, that we were able to go out and put these people in contract. And some of them actually very high-end clients that had come through. I think our 2 highest sales last year, which are 8.5 and I think 4.850, were both Zillow leads. So we've done very good with Zillow. And then of course, geographic farming, which is a pillar we've added recently. It's just starting to bear fruit, but we're doing more and more things with farming. And then lastly for us, and it's something that has been an important pillar for me from the very beginning of my business, which is agent referrals. So networking amongst other agents and being referred based on reputation from agents who know us from other networks we're involved in. We do a lot with Tom Ferry. So getting referred business from out of the area And that has been kind of our big fifth pillar. And then I always say for the sixth pillar, we're always trying new stuff. So we do experiment with other lead gen, but I'll tell anybody, if you don't have your hand in at least the four initial ones you talked about, and then maybe looking for agent extra referrals, then I wouldn't start messing with too much experimental. I'd go with the tried and true first. Because it's really easy to get sold on somebody calling you, trying to sell you some new type of lead gen. And my experience is it's those focusing on those main pillars are the ones that'll consistently give you the most business.
That is so true. And I love the pillar that you've added for agent to agent referrals. The referred business is the best business, right? Because it's the easiest to convert. There's implied trust and credibility when someone recommends you, and it makes that sale happen that much easier. But awesome job, man. Congratulations on all your success this year and crushing it with your lead generation.
All right. Thanks, Brett.
So the next piece, the next element in the 5 accelerators to double your business is accountability. Now, accountability is something when we say the word, right? Some people cringe. But what I can tell you is that elite performers, they lean into accountability. Average people, they kind of shirk away from accountability, let accountability find them. And so this is something that is super critical to the business. And I think one of the things that is so helpful with coaching, there's so many real estate agent coaching programs out there. And a lot of them, more than anything, just to have offer the opportunity for someone to be held accountable. But ultimately, accountability, it's the bridge between your goals and their accomplishment. Setting goals out there is great. We just come off of the new year, and I'm sure all of you guys have created a business plan and you're excited about what's possible in 2022. But where the rubber meets the road is doing the work and then having somebody to hold you accountable. In our environment, kind of this is our playbook and what we do. And as I share it with you, just think yourself, how can you recreate this, whether it's through a coaching program or others. But we create peer accountability groups. They're pods of 5 or 6 agents. And those guys or gals will end up doing role play together, if they feel like they need to brush up or get stronger on something. Prospecting partners, sometimes getting in and doing the grind of making, an hour or 2 of follow-up calls a day is not easy to do. But if you have a buddy to do it with, it makes it that much easier. And then what we've also used these elements for is sharing best practices. As we talked about earlier, that spirit of collaboration with the growth mindset of not being scarcity minded, but really being collaborative and abundance mindset, like Morgan talked about, is what you want to get to. So if you don't have an accountability partner, hire one. As we talked about earlier, these are some of the top coaching resources that can provide not only that growth environment for training, but also accountability. Tom Ferry, Workman Systems, Club Wealth, Brian Buffini. Don't be afraid to make the investment in yourself. As I share with you guys today, I'm here actually in Park City, Utah, at a mastermind. And one of the questions they'd asked yesterday as we were doing our kind of mixer was, what's the best investment you've ever made in your business? And I said it was the mastermind groups that I've been a part of. It's getting around other successful people and an environment of accountability. So don't be afraid to make that investment. On that note on accountability, one of the partners we wanted to call out who's doubled his business this year, went from 340,000 in GCI to 680,000 in GCI. Again, just goes to prove that old dogs can learn new tricks. Mark Dwelle, and not that he's old, but he's been in the business 15 years. So he's not new to real estate. So Mark Dwelle, if you're there, if you can hop on out, I want to just ask kind of your perspective on, how accountability, because like I said, you've been a long time agent and kind of were at a plateau for a while, how accountability and kind of the goal setting and goal getting has impacted not only your business, but your life.
Yeah. Yeah, Brett, and I am an old dog, but it's okay. I'm still looking pretty young, so I'll keep riding it out. But yeah, it's been a journey. I mean, being in real estate for 17 years of doing this, and as you said, kind of plateauing out has been kind of where I've been. And then as you and I met, and as I came joining forces with real estate experts, it was really the the crest of how things have changed in my life and how it's really made a difference in our lives. And obviously, when we make more money, it does make a huge difference for your family, for you, for your success. But the pillar in that is what you said earlier. It's to me the single most important pillar in the aspect that is the bridge that puts all those other things together. And we at Real Estate Experts have a phenomenal system in place that's helped me a lot. And as the other guys had alluded to earlier, really just leaning in and saying, hey, Mark, you know what, whatever I learned in the past, whatever you've kind of gone through at different companies or different stages of your career, let's come with an open mind and let's be okay to be accountable. And we have daily accountability calls, the role play calls, peer mentor groups, which we had a phenomenal group this year that really helped me. And just being involved with that and knowing that it's almost like having a workout partner and knowing that you got to get to the gym that morning and be able to be accountable to that person because they're going to be there. And so it really helped me focus in to my goals this year. And we don't go a day without having some sort of accountability available to us, along with a quarterly accountability, looking at our numbers. And then at the end of the year, we do a phenomenal job of goal setting, which has really, really helped my business grow. So it's a really important part of what changed my business around this year, and I don't take it lightly. And I love the fact that we have that. And I'll say this, Brett, I'll go out on a limb and say, your level of commitment and investment into each person in the company is unprecedented. I haven't seen it working at other companies, and it is a big factor in why the success that I've achieved this year has happened. So
awesome, man. Well, thank you. I don't know if I've heard my name used in the same sentence with unprecedented before, but I'll take that one. All right, cool. Well, congratulations on all your success and being kind of that icon of accountability, Mark. So moving on, we've talked about the three pillars, right? Mindset, leads, accountability. The next piece is systems. So as you continue to grow the business, you've got to have tight systems, because once you start to generate lots of leads, you've got to have a place to catch them, a place to nurture them, and do all that. So we're going to share with you kind of our entire tech stack. My mindset, was shaped again by this mentor, Gary Keller, when it came to finding systems in the business. He said, look for the best systems and models, the ways that can take you further, faster, and implement them. So for us, this is kind of the tech stack that we've been using. Boomtown is the CRM that we've been using, that we use to send out properties to people. There's a number of great ones out there: Sierra Interactive, Chime, Follow Up Boss. But the second thing we use is a Mojo power dialing system. It's, if you're going to do that follow up and you're trying to follow up with 20 or 30 people in a day, it's a lot easier to do that in an hour, or, as opposed to 2 hours doing a lot of stuff by thumb. HomeBot is another part of our tech stack. That is a great seller marketing tool, or digital farming tool, I would call it. So if you haven't checked out HomeBot, you might want to check that out. And then for us, G Suite. So we use Gmail, Google Calendar, because that makes it easy to function. Even if you're a solo agent, you get an assistant, right? You want a platform that's going to be scalable, and G Suite has done that for us. So that's the tech stacks that we have there. In implementing the systems, the leads, and this guy's remarkable. I don't know how many pictures he has, success stories with clients, and every single one, they have their feet off the ground. I don't know how many pictures it takes to get that perfect shot every time, but it's a testament to Ryan and his commitment to process. So he does that with every client, and he's really leveraged the systems that we have here and taken, his business, and he and his partner, Tim, had been pretty much like solo agents. And Ryan came in here, implemented and adopted our systems right out of the gate. Ryan, I think if I remember right, your first month when you came over, you did 6 transactions, if I remember right. And it's been great having you here, but more than almost tripled your business between 2020 and 2021. So Ryan, if you wouldn't mind jumping out and kind of sharing what your thoughts are on the importance of having good systems in achieving those next levels of growth.
Sure. Yeah. And been in the game for a mere 5.5 years. That's the limit of my experience. I'm a young broker. And these systems enable me to be really efficient. And so I'll wake up and I'll check Boomtown. I'll jump in and just go through you can sift and sort by, say, less than 30 days, folks who are ready to buy or sell less than 30, and then 30 or greater. We have different categories, right? And so it helps me to stay focused. I'm not the most organized or disciplined, but these systems, and like I said, Boomtown, and then jumping in the calls, you can export, again, with the help of the extensive team we'll talk about next with the support piece. But there's a lot of support here to help us make our calls efficiently and sort people and categorize and keep it straight in our mind. That way, when you're time blocking, like when I time block, Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays are for dedicated follow-up. Tuesdays, Thursdays are more for like new business, new lead generation. You can do it however, whatever works for you and your schedule. But like you said, jumping into Mojo, it allows you to make those calls very efficiently, and they queue everything up for you. So I like how everything's queued up for us, and we can request different polls. They show us how to do different polls, but I really like how the CRM is very efficient and just keeps us on track. And then they'll send out emails, monthly touches, like I said, the newsletters on your behalf, talking about the market updates, what we're seeing. So it's nice to I get some comments on that, how people and every email goes out branded to you. I also like how the home bot is good for sellers and your owners who are your previous clients, right? Folks who are really tracking their Zillow estimates and their home bot values. And that's it shows them what they can do with their money, with the equity in their home, with, if you bought a second home, or if you paid it off, or if you sold it, what could you take and leverage in the next property? And on that note, there's some pretty cool partnerships that Brett's forged with other companies, partners who can help sellers do like a trade-in where they can buy first, then sell, things like that. I'm sure you guys have seen that on his marketing before. But anyway, the systems are crucial. Brett, jog me if I'm missing. I know there's just a ton out there, and
no software is going to completely change your business, right? But having a core database, right, that you put a centralized place where you put all of your leads and your contacts and clients, right? That is super critical to succeed, right? You have to have that to succeed in the business, and you've done that well and leveraged it. So congratulations, dude, on a huge year. And I know you got great things coming in 2022. And thanks for joining us on the call.
Well, you got it. Thanks, guys.
So we've talked about mindset, leads, accountability, systems. The last piece is support. And it kind of comes back to this principle we talked about in the mindset that we started with, is that, what I find two reasons why a lot of agents won't ever get past 15 transactions. Number one, they only rely on sphere of influence or open houses. And then number two, they don't add leverage or support to their business, right? As they get to that 18, 19, 20 transaction, because they're busy doing all of the busy work. We talked about this earlier, the 9 jobs of real estate. Your job is to replace yourself in every box. So if you're building your business on your own, the thing to consider, and I'll share it in the next slide, is when to make those key hires. Like, how many deals should you do, or should you be doing before you consider hiring that next level of support? Now, if you where to get leverage, if you do not have a transaction coordinator and you're coordinating your own files, that's like number one, the first thing to do immediately, get that paperwork off your plate. Now, once you get to about 18 transactions a year, then it's time to start thinking about either an assistant or at least a virtual assistant to take off all of the busy work over and above what your transaction coordinator does. Once you get past 24 transactions, and if you're buyer heavy, meaning if you're doing 2 deals a month, but 3/4 of your deals are buyers, look at hiring a showing assistant. I've got a friend of mine who has sold 93 homes representing almost exclusively buyers, and he's only personally shown maybe 20 houses in an entire year, and he sold 93 homes. So the leverage of a showing assistant can transform your business. And if you're listing focused, once you are getting at least 2 listings a month, consider a listing manager. You might even hire an assistant that could also double as a listing manager. Couple good resources for assistants, myoutdesk.com. Lauren, if you want to type that in the chat, myoutdesk.com is a great resource for virtual assistants. If you're looking to hire, a more elevated, full-time, onshore assistant, try Pro REA Staffing. They've got, it's not inexpensive, but one of the things I'd tell you from personal experience, don't cheap out on help. Hire the best person you can afford. And it might even feel like it's a little bit outside your comfort zone, because don't hire the person for where your business is today. Hire that person for where your business, you want it to go. So they might be overqualified in the beginning, but if you just hire somebody, just handle some tasks today as you grow, unless they're growth minded, you're gonna need to replace them. So just a couple things to think about in that support. Krista Nielsen is again an experienced agent, 4 years in the business. In 2020, did 11 units and nearly doubled her business this year, and joined and partnered with Nneka Jenkins, who we talked about early in the call, and really, was able to not only double her business but maintain lifestyle. So, Krista, why don't you, if you can just jump out and share a little bit about like how the experience of leveraging support helped you on that journey to doubling your business.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brett. I want to quickly mention that I used to be on the other side. I used to be watching these webinars. So I just am honored to be speaking now. It's full circle.
Oh,
so
cool.
I want to mention that for the time that I've been in business, the team mindset was a very different one to me. That the general industry misconception is that teams are meant for underperforming agents or brand new agents. I think that has shifted dramatically, especially with agents that may have children or a lifestyle that they want to maintain. So something that's always been very, very important to me is my family. This is just this past December, my kids are 8 and 9 years old. We are still dealing with this weird COVID situation of kids are home, kids are not. So I needed to find a way to balance all that with still exponentially growing my business, but being present as a parent at home. So what better way for me to do that was to find a team that made sense to me and find the support through that team. So I wasn't ready to begin my own team. I wanted to still grow and learn from other people, and I'm very externally motivated. So I really, really wanted to make sure that I found someone that would drive me, but also support me in the process. So I started with Real Estate Experts probably February of 2021. I didn't really trust the systems and the process for quite a few months, and Lauren and Brett can attest to that, but I'm finally letting that go and trusting having a showing assistant show homes for me, having a transaction coordinator manage those transactions so I can be on vacation with my family, and just really trusting a team to push me as an agent, but also support me when I can't physically do everything. Brett had mentioned ceilings and being capped at some place, and I very much was at my ceiling as a solo agent, almost near tears. I didn't know what I needed to do next to really outperform my previous years, and now I've found that ability with the support of Real Estate Experts and with the support of Onyx Wealth Realty.
Krista, you are awesome, and I crack up because I remember explaining to you, we have to learn to work with our service partners, because think of it like a relay race, Krista, and we can't both hold on to the baton. You have to pass the baton. But it's
still holding on a little bit.
Still holds on a little bit, but it's been incredible watching you grow and seeing what you can accomplish next. And I'm really looking forward to your 2022 and just crushing it. And I'm, thank you for kind of sharing that story and taking it full circle of how that impacted your home life.
That's awesome. Congratulations on all your success. So to recap, we've talked about to double your business requires a mindset of constant growth and learning, generating more leads and opportunities, accountability to follow your plan, systems to handle those additional clients, and then hiring support so you can focus on your highest dollar productive activities. So a quick self-assessment. We started the session with a self-assessment. We're going to wrap up with a self-assessment real quick, just asking yourself, are you doing some of these things now? Chances are you are doing some of these things because you've achieved some level of success in real estate, and some of these things are in place. Now, if you implemented more of these elements, would your business grow? And lastly, if you implemented all of these things, could you double your business? So what's really possible when you do this? Dan, these principles, right? Whether you choose to do this on your own, or if you want to explore the opportunity and options of what it looks like to be on the Real Estate Experts platform, certainly we welcome that opportunity. But this is what's possible when you get these 5 things right. Right? Dan went from 20 million to 83 million. Ian went from 23 million to 116 million. Ryan went from 24 million to 54 million. And Mark Dwelle, 10 units and 340,000 in GCI to 680. And then Krista, almost doubling her business as well. And these are just a few examples of people. So in our short time today, and I know we've gone over just a little bit, in our short time today, I've crammed, packed, squeezed together as tightly as possible our entire playbook for doubling your business, okay? Now, if you were only to use a tiny fraction of all we covered today, don't you feel like you've taken a leap forward in knowing what you need to do to actually grow your business? I don't know what you knew coming in, but it would be safe to bet that some of what we covered today was new or valuable, such as the mindset of growth and constant learning, developing that consistent flow of the core 4 lead generation pillars, the importance of accountability to follow through on your plan, the importance of systems, and then how to leverage support. So once you start getting busy, you can take the busy work off your plate to get more clients. Now, about the middle of our talk, we talked about this element that environment is stronger than willpower. And my advice to you, if you're going to put all of this together yourself, is your goal should be to find or create an environment with the 5 accelerators in place. Now, some coaching programs offer these things, and it is some of the things that obviously these are all the elements that we've put together here, but those are the 5 things that you should be looking for. So either find or create an environment with those things already in place rather than trying to do it all yourself. I promised at the beginning of the call that we're going to provide you this bonus as a roadmap. So if you've registered for this event and attended, we're going to be sending out a copy of the 7 stages of a real estate business. This is my personal roadmap that I've used to grow my business, and we're coaching these agents too as well. But a second bonus we wanted to offer, and we have a limited number of spots available. We had over 120 people on the call today, but we have 20 spots available for a one-on-one double your business session. In the beginning of the call, we did a quick assessment. If you filled that out, we can take that information and we'll meet with you for 30 minutes, whether you're interested in real estate experts or not. My passion personally is coaching agents and helping them identify what it takes to go to the next level. A lot of success, actually my biggest success has come from not just taking action, not just doing the right things, but doing the right things in the right order. So we'll sit down with you and do that. But we do have a limited number of spots available. We have 20 spots available. Well, I help you identify the missed opportunities in your business, clarify what's holding you back, and help you understand the path to the next level. So to do that, if you're interested in getting a session, a double your business strategy session, go to laurenscalendar.com. I don't know if Lauren is still on or not, but
I'm on.
Okay,
I can
cool.
go ahead and drop it in the chat.
Yeah, go ahead and drop the link in your chat. Go ahead and drop the link in the chat. So laurenscalendar.com, and we'll take the time to do that. Now, I do want to, while we're putting that in the chat, allow for a couple minutes for some Q&A for any of the things that we talked about. So if you're curious, we still have our panelists on the call. I think most of them are still here. So if you have some
Fred,
questions,
I'm sorry if I can interject something real quick.
sure.
I just want everyone to know, anyone who does go in to book a time on laurenscalendar.com, there's an option that says double your business coaching session. And you will, in fact, walk away with an action plan on how to double your business. regardless if you work with us or someone else. So you do walk away with an actual one sheet plan on things to implement to help double your business. So I just want to interject that in real quick.
Cool. I was just trying to do the live link. So we do have time to open it up for a little bit of Q&A if we have anyone who wants to, has any questions about any of the content that we covered or strategies for myself or any of the panelists.
So Brett, we have a question. How much do we spend on Zillow leads per month? Now, with us being partners of Zillow Flex, we actually don't do any advertising up front. We pay a referral fee upon close. But when we were doing market-based pricing, how did we set that budget for what we paid for up front?
Yeah, so getting enough leads. So with Zillow, the quality comes with the quantity. So getting enough leads is important. That you're getting enough flow. So I would recommend you're probably going to spend at least $3,000 a month on Zillow. So, and you'll find, I just want to make sure, can someone check and see if that link is working? You want to spend at least about $3,000 a month on Zillow. We were spending, before we flipped over to Flex, about $30,000 a month to support 10 to 13 agents. And the other thing you're going to want to identify is you don't want to get too many leads, because then it's almost, we're learning, right? Too many leads can be a problem because you're not putting enough focus or attention on those opportunities that are there. They're not converting, and you're just kind of skimming the surface. And especially with buyers right now, right? Buyers are tough. It's not an easy market to do that. So. Someone asked, Alexander Calorie, Zillow Flex is only for teams. That's not necessarily true. Like, we have individual independent agents at our company, and they're on Zillow Flex. But we have
told me it was only for teams.
Yeah, you
have to sign up to be selected. It'd be a team, because you'd have to have more than one person able to catch the allocation.
Right.
Yeah. So you need a group of 5 agents.
Yeah.
And so it's usually team leaders that qualify for the opportunity for Zillow Flex. So what we have done, though, is I have a team at Real Estate Experts. I have 5 agents. And then we have about 5 other teams at Real Estate Experts and about 40 independent agents. And a good number of them leverage Zillow Flex. In fact, we sold Elon Musk's house this year, and it was a Zillow Flex lead for $31 million. So
not shabby.
If anybody says that Zillow, doesn't work, I works for us. Realtor.com is also a good resource. They're typically, what we find in the San Francisco Bay Area is not, the lead volume is not as strong as Zillow because of the traffic. Realtor.com doesn't get quite as much traffic as Zillow does. Redfin Partner Agent is also a decent option. One thing about Redfin, though, they tend to deliver more of the lower dollar value leads to the Redfin partner agents, and then they have more of the higher dollar value leads to their interior, their salaried staff agents. But I do know some people who have supplemented their business with Redfin partner agent. Any other thoughts or questions before we wrap?
This was great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear we delivered some good value today. I hope the information was helpful. That was our intention. So stay tuned. We will continue. If you've registered for this event, at least once a quarter, if not every other month, we'll be doing some kind of top agent panel on a topic that will help you grow your business.